All right, welcome, welcome. We're gonna get started on this standing warm-up. This is gonna be about 10 to 15 minutes. It's my favorite warm-up. It's the one that I almost use all the time to get ready for anything, pole, floor work, acrobatics, and anything else like that. You are gonna need a couple of tools for today. We have a yoga mat here, and we have some blocks. Okay, if you need some recommendations, there will probably be a couple of links underneath this video on what I think might be helpful for you. Blocks are going to be helpful if you can't touch the ground. So if you have a hard time keeping your legs straight folding forward and can't touch the ground, I highly recommend blocks. We're also going to be doing something in a triangle pose. If you have a hard time folding forward and touching the ground, blocks are fine. They help you get there. So blocks will help you be successful in your stretching goals, and I highly recommend them. And then a yoga mat. Everybody should have a yoga mat. They're universal. This is a general warm-up that should cover almost everything that I teach within my different programs. If we get to something else, I will do more site-specific exercises to do that. So every time you're getting ready to warm up, you can either watch this video or you can do a warm-up of your own, as long as it's head to toe and get your heart rate up and is really fun, okay? The only other thing that we're going to be doing today, I want to talk about a couple things because you won't be able to see me as I cue you through it. We will be in a point where we have our legs wider than our hips, and we're going to be in a forward fold, okay? I'm going to ask you to walk your hands over to one side. This is my left foot, so it's going to be my left ankle and my right hand is going to grab it, and then I'm going to reach up with the opposite arm. It's a nice cross twist. If you can't grab the ankle, you might want to grab a little higher on the shin or maybe closer to the knee, depending on your flexibility. And then we're going to roll out our wrist a couple times in one direction. We'll roll it back the other way, and then maybe we'll go for a final twist, okay? That'll be like one of a couple exercises. Another one that we're going to get into is some pelvic initiation and full range of motion through the spine. So we might do something where I say stand up and tilt the pelvis, okay? And tilting the pelvis is going to roll all the way through the spine until you're in this full arch shape, and that is going to drive you all the way forward and down. And then when you can't go down anymore, what you're going to do is tuck the pelvis and let that rounding action roll through the spine and roll you up to a standing position. And as you start to get a little more fluid with this, what you'll do is you'll tuck the pelvis to round, but you're also going to drive it forward and let the spine respond. It's almost like we're cracking a whip every time, okay? That's this tucking action driving you forward and up. And then eventually we're going to reverse it. We're going to tuck our chin, chest, and dive. And then when we get to the bottom, we're going to straighten our legs as best as we can. So if you can't fold over all the way like this, you might be like this right here, and that's okay. But try to lock out the legs and get the legs straight, and then lead up with the head, and it will be pulling you back, chin, chest, and dive, okay? So those are the only things that you really need to know. So we're going to get started. Yeah, I would play some music for you, but I think we all know how that works in today's society. So I didn't have anything magical for you that was royalty free, but who knows? Maybe in post I'll have something there that I'm going to edit in for you, and I just don't know it yet, okay? So we're going to start rocking left and right, feet wider than the hips. Yeah, I'm going to wake up the feet, maybe wiggle out the toes as you're shifting back and forth. Yes, feel the inner and outer blade of the foot as you shift back and forth, and then let it start to roll up and down in the spine and into the head in no particular order as you shift back and forth. Good. And then from here, come back to center. Good. You're going to start to roll around in a circle. Feel all four sides of the foot. Maybe the heels and toes will lift as you go around. Maybe not. Maybe you're just in the ankles rolling yourself out in a circle, but you should be feeling all four sides of the foot as you go around. And maybe you're losing a little balance or finding it as you push yourself. And then other direction. Good. And then coming back to center. Okay, nice and slow with the arms. We're going to reach up. You're going to arch back, start to fold over. Pretend like you're scooping up a bunch of money, straighten the legs, and then drop the money off and bend the knees. And then come back up, yes? Arms, arch, fold and scoop, drop it off, back up to the top and arch. Fold and scoop. And keep going back and forth. Yes. This one took me a lot of practice to actually learn how to do. When I first started dancing, I had no idea what I was doing and how to move my body and kind of get the spine and the knees and the pelvis all to work at the same time. Should have seen me. I looked like a broken robot. Okay. One more full one. Good. Stay standing, dropping the arms, facing forward, rolling the shoulders back. Yes? Really roll through the whole socket. Feel all of the range that you may or may not have, I don't know. But really roll the entire shoulder socket back. 3, 2, 1. To the front, same deal. Rolling out the shoulders to the front. 3, 2, and 1. Good. We're going to take it into the ribs, yes? Chest forward, arching back. Push the ribs back and round. Really big hug. Drop the head. Front and arch. Back and round. 3, 2. Last full one. And back to center. Yes? From here, standing up nice and straight, we're going to try and slide the ribs from side to side, back, and forth. Make sure it's the ribs that are sliding. You're not just like going side this like this, yes? So you're not bending side to side. You're standing up tall and it's like, whoop, what? Whoop, yeah. It's almost like you're pushing your ribs from side. You are pushing your ribs from side to side, back and forth, yes? 3, 2, 1, back to center. Then we're gonna make a box. Take the chest, pop it forward, to the right, back, center. Front, right, back, center, and then smooth it out, full rib circles. The first time I ever did a dance class was in my early 20s, and I did this, and I thought it was like the most femme chick thing. And then here I am 10, 15 years later, and then reverse it, go the other way. Yes, just right into a full circle. And I understand what I didn't know then is that I was trying to find full range of motion through the chest so that I could do chest isolations, right? This was back in the like Spice Girl times, you know? I don't know, I was just young and stupid and ignorant, but now I'm a new man. Good, and then come back to center. From here down into the pelvis, tucking it forward, tilting it back. Tuck, tilt, front, back. 3, 2, 1. Stay low, and then from hip to hip, try to get a straight leg as you shift from side to side. Yes, and then I'm also squeezing my oblique as I bring the hip up from side to side. Yeah, it's giving me a little more. And then extra brownie points, if you can keep your chest steady and just move the hips. So if you're doing like shifting from side to side as you're doing this, try to keep the chest steady and the hips are just swaying underneath you from side to side. Good, and then from here, parallel the feet, arch, melt forward, take a forward fold. Straighten out the legs, dangle, swivel, swing, whatever feels good to you. You might want to grab your elbows, right? And we're going to go into this first forward fold that we discussed before this started. And you're going to walk your hands over towards the left side. Right hand grabs the left ankle or shin. Left arm straight up in the air, taking your twist. Find your balance. Put a little energy back forward into the toes. Good, and then start to roll out the wrist. 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll the wrist other direction. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here for a second. Try to twist just a little bit deeper, reaching back further. Pulse the arm. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring it down. Take a breath. Other side. Right ankle, left hand, right arm up in the air. Nice cross twist. Find your balance. Shift the energy back into the toes. Roll out the wrist. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other way. 4, 3, 2, 1. Twisting a little deeper once again. Hold it here and pulse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring it down. Hands are down on the mat in front of you. Arms are straight and locked out. Try looking forward. Lift your head the entire time. We are squatting our booty to the floor. Here we go. And down and up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, here's the next part. Take your feet and heel and toe at once, just a little bit closer to your hips. Yes? And now we're going to start to do the tucking and tilting exercise I showed you. Yes? So start to soften the knees, tuck the pelvis, start to round and roll up, and then drive the pelvis forward if you can. Roll through the spine. Push the pelvis forward. Arch. Melt back forward the entire time. Tuck the pelvis, rolling, rounding up. Push it forward. arching and melting. Keep going at your own pace. This is super important as an exercise, so you should always come back and practice this. Once you can start to understand how the spine connects to the pelvis and control every part of your spine as you roll up, game changer. One more full one. Pausing at the top. Good. Take a nice deep inhale in. Exhale out. Good. And now we're going to reverse it. Head, chin, chest, dive. All the way down, straight legs, head up first. Chin, chest, dive. Straight legs, head up. Two more. One more full one. Good. Pausing at the top. Just shift the hips left and right. And then get ready. We're going to do side lunges left and right, okay, but facing forward. Here we go. We open up, add an arm in, shifting back and forth. 4, 3, 2, last full one. I'm going to stop over here, okay? We're in a side lunge. Both feet are facing forward, okay? If you have blocks, you might want these. Yeah, and then you're going to try and go lower, okay? You need to keep this foot completely planted to the floor. If you can't, and heels lifting or whatever, use the blocks if you've got them. Prop yourself up higher, okay? Think about externally rotating this leg. This is where you're at. The knee is winging in, and the inner blade of the foot is flat, but the outside is, that don't count, okay? The entire foot needs to be flat, okay? If it not, this is where you're at. If you're like, yeah, cool, no problem, I can go low, then you go low, yes? If you're here and you're super rounded, see if you can pull yourself into a more neutral spine. And then you're going to turn in this direction into a runner's lunge, and this is where the blocks come in handy. I actually can't touch the floor without blocks in a neutral spine. I can round and get my hands down, but right here, this is almost neutral for me. Okay, so we're rocking front and back. Yeah, loosening things up. And then slow it down. Stop right here in your runner's lunge. Squeeze the rear leg and straighten it out. And try to pulse the pelvis down nice and slow every time without bending the rear knees. Okay, so don't just be like, oh, I'm bouncing. Yay, so fun. This is what I'm supposed to do. As you go down, you should think about down and how can I go a little further next time as I push down. That's a stretch. It's not just like bouncy, bouncy, okay? Really think about going down and down. Don't bend the rear knee. 3, 2, 1, and then step it up halfway or so, yes? So we're in a triangle pose. So the feet are parallel, one's forward, one's back, yes? You're gonna start to fold forward. Once again, if you have blocks, yes? I don't need a neutral spine, but if you can get your hands on the ground without the rear leg bending, the front leg bending, yes, then this is good. If you're not here, maybe you're here on your ankle or your shin, maybe you're a little higher, whatever it is, right? You're gonna start to feel it in the hamstring back here. So if you can't touch, and this is a little bit painful, Mr. Block over here can be very helpful, and you can work on it, yes? Really think about keeping that front leg straight, and then maybe folding and relaxing a little bit deeper. And then we're going to start to rock it out. Push off the back foot, point, rock back and flex the front. Keep the front leg straight. Point and flex. 3, 2, last full one, point, flex, step it back into your runner's lunge, both hands to the inside of the front leg, turn back to the front, grab your blocks if you need them. Yes, and you're going to transfer right over to the other side. You might be in this high lunge first, or you might go straight down to the low one, right? Remember, this foot completely flat, all 4 sides. The knee is tracking. It's not winging in or going anywhere weird, yes? And you're trying to find a neutral spine so you're not super rounded over, just trying to make it happen. You might need to have one hand behind you, propping you up in this shape too. And then turning in this direction, runner's lunge over here, rock it out. I actually like having these blocks today. And then slow it down. Once again, rear leg straight and locked out. Little pulses of the pelvis, nice and slow without bending the rear knee, trying to go lower each time as you pulse with intention. 3, 2, 1. Step it up halfway. Triangle pose here. Yep. Front leg straight and locked out. Then start to fold forward. If you notice that the knee starts to bend, you might need to come back up a little bit higher, or you can squeeze your quad. Watch my leg. As I squeeze the quad on the front, it makes my leg a little bit straighter on the top part. Yes, the quad pushes the back of the knee back. Good. And then folding, relaxing. And then rocking it out. Push off the back foot, point. Rock back, flex. Point and flex. 3, 2, 1. Coming back to center, step it back into your runner's lunge. Hands to the inside, turn back to the front, and then come back to the center. We're gonna readjust right into a deep sumo squat. So the knees are wide. Come down into this second position, right? A deep sumo squat. Yes, and then you're gonna come down to the forearms or the elbows. Try not to let your booty sink low, right? Don't let the butt go below the knees. And then try to get a neutral spine. So try not to round right here. Yes, try to have a neutral spine. So butt on the same level as the knees, like you're sitting in a chair. Yes, chest lifted, somewhat neutral spine. Turn one direction, push and open the opposite knee or thigh. Other way, it's good. I need this side right here. And then coming back to center, hands are down on the mat in front of you, up onto the balls of your feet, push, push, point, point. Yes, squeeze. Think about pushing the ankles out, yet engaging. Release the heels down, take one breath. Up onto the balls of the feet one more time, push, push, point, point. Squeeze. See if you can take your hands off and balance for just a second. Woo, la, 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 la. Good, straighten the legs, forward fold, shift the hips back and forth, take a couple breaths. Good. From here, walk your hands forward off of your mat, walk your feet back, okay? Everything's just a little bit wider than the hips, but parallel. Yeah, we're setting into a down dog. Fingers are spread wide. The hands are active like you're trying to grip the floor like a gecko. Yes, maybe they're pedaling out the legs, but as you start to settle into your down dog, slow down the pedal. Try to straighten out your legs. Hands are active, push your shoulders away, and then try to push your chest towards your knees, and then try to keep the legs straight and relax the heels to the floor. Shifting forward, top of plank, shoulders over the wrists, nice and strong. If you need to drop to your knees for a half plank, you can. Otherwise, you're in a full plank if you've got one. Lower the pelvis, up dog. Thighs are off the ground, arms are nice and strong. And then push back up to down dog. 2 breaths here. Once again, shifting forward, top of plank, shoulders over the wrists. Lower the pelvis. Up dog, thighs off the ground. Open your feet up a little bit wider than your hips. Turn your booty to one side and then push your booty up and over. So we're going to go through an up dog, down dog, swivel. Yes, 3 in this direction. There's 1. Looking forward in your up dog, looking between your legs in your down dog. 2. And after number 3, go back the other way. 3 to the opposite direction. Up and over and around we go. 1. 2. And 3. Pushing back, down dog. 2 breaths here really quick. Shift forward, top of plank, lower the pelvis all the way to the ground. Untuck the toes. You're in a cobra of choice. If you want to walk your hands forward, you can. Your pubic bone needs to be touching. So if somebody shined a light between my legs right now, you wouldn't see any light coming through, but my elbows need to be off the ground. Okay, this is not a cobra. Okay, here we go. So pubic bone connected, textbook style. Elbows off the ground. Wherever you want it in the lower back, dealer's choice. And then now you can bring it down just a little bit lower. Now we're down to the forearms, kind of like in a sphinx position. Squeeze the legs together. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways for this. You can too if you want to. Yes. So I'm in my sphinx position. Okay, so the shoulders are stacked over the elbows. Okay, but my chest is lifted. Okay, I'm going to relax down just a little bit here. So it's like right before I lift up. I'm going to think about rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. Start pulling on the mat so that you're pulling forward in your skin as you lift your chest. Pull the chest through the shoulders. And then try to squeeze the shoulder blades behind you at the same time. A lot of things are happening. I'm lifting, I'm pulling, I'm squeezing. And then release down, take a couple breaths. One more time, roll the shoulders up, back, and down, pulling forward on the mat in your skin as you lift the chest, pull the chest through the shoulders, squeeze the shoulder blades behind you. Straighten the arms once again for a quick cobra, and then push back into a child's pose. Knees wide, feet together, booty on the heels, arms and hands out in front of you. Taking a couple breaths here. And then from here, shifting forward into a tabletop. Okay, shoulders over the wrists, hips are over the knees or in line with the knees, yes. And you're gonna think about a simple cat and cow. I want you to think about tilting the pelvis, it rolls through the spine, and then my head lifts last. Tucking the pelvis, the spine rounds and my head drops last. At your own pace, tilting and tucking, using the pelvis to initiate, and then it rolls out through the spine and out through the top of the head. And then try taking it on a rotation, a rolling cat and cow, still using the pelvis to initiate, and the head's just along for the ride. So as you're doing this rolling cat and cow, your head should be looking between your legs when you're rounded and looking forward when you're in a hard tilt. Other direction, yes? Good, coming back to center. From here, tuck the toes, straighten the legs, back up into a down dog. Recenter on your mat if you need to. We're pretty much there. And then walk your hands back towards your feet for a final forward fold. Yes. We're actually going to do a little hamstring stretch and then we're done. So your feet are going to be parallel underneath your hips. Yes. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to put your chest on top of your thighs. You're going to maintain this contact the entire time. If you can do this, you can do this. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hands behind our knees, grab our forearms or our elbows, and we're going to try and straighten. But as soon as we get to a point where the chest starts to come off, do you see that empty space right there? We need to go right back there and hold while we are straightening. Okay? That's the exercise. Okay? We can all do this and try to forward fold with a ton of space, but that's not going to get us any closer to a full, like, vinyasa style forward fold. Okay, so we're going to do 3 at my pace. Holding on, chest is on the thighs, keep it here, yes. If you bend your knees, you can see it all kind of releases, yes. So, straighten, straighten, stretch, stretch. Keep an eye on yourself. Is your chest coming off of the thighs? Do you even know if your thighs are losing contact from the chest? A lot of people don't even know. They just think that, like, oh my God, I feel it in the hamstrings. Totally, I'm like totally bending forward. I'm like a pretzel. No, stay here. Boom. Release a little pressure. Keep in the pose, but just drop your booty or bend your knees. One more time. Straighten, straighten, stretch, stretch. Release a little tension. One more. Come on, we got to get to 3. Straighten, straighten, stretch, stretch. Keep the chest on the thighs. 3, 2, 1, and then release. Hands are on the mat. Straighten out the legs. Swivel the hips back and forth. Maybe open up the feet just a little bit wider, maybe the width of the mat. Okay, and then go ahead. Soften the knees. Start to tuck the pelvis as you roll up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shake it out. Boom. If you feel like there's anything that I missed, feel free to address any of those areas that you want. So this is just going to be the standing basic warm-up that I have. I'll have this before all of my classes, before any content, and then anything else that is more site-specific or something a little bit different, I will address it in those videos. Okay. Once again, there should be a couple links below if you need something for like tools, yoga mat, blocks, maybe power bands and things of that nature. And once again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, shoot me an email, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video.